Throughout history, the rise and fall of great powers have been inextricably linked to technological revolutions. The nations that master a new, transformative technology often find themselves catapulted to global leadership, able to project power and influence far beyond their borders. Consider the British Empire. Its global dominance in the 19th century was not merely a product of naval might or colonial ambition, it was fundamentally powered by the steam engine. This single invention revolutionized manufacturing, transportation, and warfare. British factories, humming with steam-powered looms, outproduced the world, while its steamships and railways shrank vast distances, allowing London to administer a sprawling empire upon which the sun famously never set. This pattern of technology-driven hegemony repeated itself in the 20th century, this time with the United States at its center. Following World War II, America's rise to superpower status was cemented by its mastery of a new wave of innovations. The atomic bomb demonstrated a terrifying new form of military power, but it was the subsequent development of the microprocessor that truly defined the American century. This tiny silicon chip became the engine of the digital age, powering everything from personal computers and the internet to advanced weapon systems and global financial networks. America's technological supremacy, centered in places like Silicon Valley, created immense economic wealth and a cultural influence that reshaped the world in its image. However, a crucial lesson from history is that no technological monopoly is permanent. The very innovations that create a hegemon eventually disseminate, becoming cheaper, more accessible, and ultimately commoditized. Britain's industrial advantages were eventually replicated and then surpassed by Germany and the United States. Similarly, the digital technologies pioneered by America are now ubiquitous. South Korea excels in semiconductor manufacturing, European firms compete in software, and Chinese companies have become giants in e-commerce and mobile technology. The diffusion of knowledge and capability is a natural and relentless force, ensuring that the pedestal of global leadership is never occupied by one power indefinitely. This brings us to today, December 16, 2025. We stand at the precipice of a new technological shift, one that promises to be more rapid and more disruptive than either the steam or the silicon revolutions. The era of singular, national dominance built on a specific invention is drawing to a close. The next great power struggle will not be defined by who has the most advanced fighter jet or the largest aircraft carrier, but by who can most effectively harness an entirely new form of intelligence. This is the challenge that will define the coming decade, and it presents a profound and perhaps existential test for America's position as the world's leading power, a test it may be failing. The disruptive force in question is, of course, artificial general intelligence, or AGI. This is not the narrow AI we are familiar with today, the algorithms that recommend movies or play chess. AGI represents a far more profound breakthrough. The creation of machines with the cognitive abilities of a human, capable of learning, reasoning, and adapting across a vast range of tasks. This is not science fiction. It is the stated goal of the world's largest technology companies and state-backed research labs. Its arrival, which some experts predict could occur before 2030, would represent the most significant invention in human history, an event on par with the discovery of fire or the invention of agriculture. Unlike steam engines or microprocessors, AGI is not just another tool to make existing processes more efficient. It is a tool that thinks. It can design better tools, accelerate scientific discovery at an exponential rate, and devise strategies that are beyond the comprehension of the cleverest human minds. The country that first develops and deploys a true AGI will gain an advantage that is difficult to overstate, a decisive strategic advantage, as some national security documents term it. This single breakthrough would unlock capabilities in every domain simultaneously, from economics and science to espionage and warfare, creating a gap in power so vast it might be impossible for rivals to close. The central thesis is this: America's global dominance, built on the foundations of the post-war economic, military, and financial order, is fundamentally analog in a world that is rapidly becoming post-digital. Its power rests on institutions, alliances, and systems of control that were designed for a different era. AGI threatens to render these pillars of American power obsolete almost overnight. An AGI can analyze economic data and predict market crashes with terrifying accuracy. It can design novel cyber weapons in seconds. It can manage automated supply chains that operate with near-perfect efficiency. The very nature of power is shifting from physical control to informational and cognitive dominance. This shift presents a direct threat to the United States because its global leadership is predicated on being the best and the fastest within the existing paradigm. American aircraft carriers are the most advanced, its financial markets are the deepest, and its research universities are the most prestigious. But AGI doesn't just improve on these metrics, it changes the game entirely. Why control shipping lanes with a carrier strike group when an AGI can coordinate a fleet of autonomous submarines to deny access entirely? Why rely on the SWIFT banking system when an AGI can create and manage a decentralized, untraceable digital currency? The American Hegemon is a magnificent castle, but AGI is the earthquake that threatens to shatter its very foundations. The first and most immediate domain where AGI will upend American dominance is the military. For decades, United States military strategy has relied on technological superiority, stealth bombers, precision-guided munitions, and unparalleled satellite surveillance. AGI renders this hardware-centric approach dangerously outdated. Imagine an AGI-powered adversary capable of processing real-time satellite, drone, and cyber intelligence to predict United States troop movements with perfect accuracy. It could coordinate swarms of thousands of cheap, autonomous drones to overwhelm a multi-billion-dollar aircraft carrier's defenses. In this new reality, the strategic value of expensive legacy platforms plummets, replaced by the power of superior algorithms and data processing. Second, the financial system, the bedrock of American global influence, is acutely vulnerable. The power of the United States dollar and the ability to impose sanctions through control of networks like SWIFT are potent geopolitical tools. However, AGI-powered cyber threats operate at a speed and scale that human defenders cannot possibly counter. An AGI could design and launch a polymorphic cyber attack that simultaneously targets the New York Stock Exchange, the Federal Reserve, and major commercial banks, creating chaos in microseconds. Furthermore, an AGI could design and manage alternative financial systems, decentralized and encrypted, that allow nations to bypass the dollar and United States financial oversight entirely, effectively neutralizing America's most powerful economic weapon. Third, AGI promises to completely overhaul global manufacturing and supply chains. America's deindustrialization over the past 40 years has left it dependent on other nations, particularly China, for manufactured goods, including many critical to its national defense. A nation wielding AGI could create fully automated dark factories that can design, produce, and iterate on advanced weaponry, electronics, and other essential goods at a speed and cost that no human-run economy could match. This would not only erase any remaining United States manufacturing advantage, but could also allow a rival to rapidly rearm and achieve industrial self-sufficiency, breaking free of American-led global supply chains. Finally, the cumulative effect of these shifts directly undermines the global standing of the United States dollar. The dollar's status as the world's reserve currency is built on a foundation of trust in the American economy, its military security, and the stability of its financial institutions. As AGI erodes America's military edge, threatens its financial infrastructure, and is used to create more efficient economic alternatives that trust will inevitably wane. Nations will have less incentive to hold their reserves in dollars if its value and security are uncertain. The shift away from the dollar would constrain America's ability to fund its deficits and project power, marking a definitive end to its era of financial hegemony. The race to achieve artificial general intelligence is not being run equally. The United States and China, the world's two preeminent powers, have adopted starkly different approaches, and this divergence in strategy may prove decisive. The American model is largely decentralized and private sector-led. Innovation is driven by a handful of giant tech companies in Silicon Valley, like Google, Microsoft, and OpenAI, which compete for talent and breakthroughs. While this fosters creativity and rapid initial progress, it also creates significant vulnerabilities. The goals of private corporations, profit and market share, do not always align with the national interest. There is no unified national strategy, and the integration of cutting-edge artificial intelligence into government and military structures is often slow, bureaucratic, and honestly, fraught with ethical debates. In sharp contrast, China is pursuing a state-directed, centrally coordinated approach known as military-civil fusion. Under this doctrine, there is no meaningful distinction between private sector artificial intelligence research and the goals of the state, particularly the People's Liberation Army. The Chinese government has declared artificial intelligence a national priority, pouring vast sums of public funds into research and mandating that private companies share their data and technology with the state. This top-down approach allows for a level of speed, focus, and integration that is simply impossible in the American system. When a Chinese artificial intelligence company makes a breakthrough, it can be weaponized and deployed across the state apparatus with, well, ruthless efficiency. This difference is most apparent in the use of data, the lifeblood of any artificial intelligence system. American tech companies operate under a patchwork of privacy regulations and public scrutiny, which, while important, can slow down the development of more powerful models. China, on the other hand, operates with few such constraints. Its government has access to a massive, unified data set on its 1.4 billion citizens, which it can use to train and refine its artificial intelligence algorithms for surveillance, social control, and identifying patterns of behavior. This creates a powerful feedback loop. More data leads to better artificial intelligence, which in turn enables more effective data collection, accelerating the entire process. The consequence is that while the United States may currently hold a slight edge in foundational artificial intelligence research, China is far ahead in implementation and strategic integration. It is building a unified, artificial intelligence-powered system of systems designed for one purpose: to challenge and ultimately supplant American leadership. The American model, with its friction between private and public sectors and its slower, more deliberative process, risks being outpaced. China is not just seeking to compete with the United States within the existing global order, it is using artificial intelligence to build the infrastructure for a new, Sino-centric order, and it is doing so with a unity of purpose that America currently lacks. The convergence of these trends points to an unsettling conclusion. The fundamental rules of global power are being rewritten in real time, and the United States may be left holding an outdated playbook. The 20th century metrics of power, gross domestic product, naval tonnage, and nuclear warheads, are not becoming irrelevant, but their importance is diminishing relative to a new metric: cognitive capacity. The nation that can think, learn, and act the fastest at a strategic level will hold the ultimate high ground. Artificial general intelligence is the ultimate accelerator of this capability, and the window for America to adapt to this new reality is closing with alarming speed. A deadline of 2030 is not hyperbole. It is a reflection of the exponential pace of technological change. America's complacency is its greatest enemy. Decades of unrivaled global leadership have fostered a sense of inertia and an assumption that its position is unshakable. Its political system is often gridlocked, slow to respond to long-term threats, and easily distracted by partisan squabbles. The urgent, whole-of-nation response required to compete in the artificial general intelligence race seems beyond its current political capacity. While Washington debates funding and regulations, Beijing is executing a clear, long-term strategy with the full backing of the state. This is not a traditional arms race that can be won by simply spending more money. It is a race of strategic adaptation. To avoid being relegated to a secondary role on the world stage, the United States must act with a sense of urgency not seen since the Cold War's space race. This requires a new national consensus. It means fostering much deeper, faster collaboration between the private tech sector and the government, breaking down the bureaucratic and cultural walls that separate Silicon Valley from Washington. It necessitates a massive public investment in artificial intelligence research and education, ensuring that the next generation of talent is not just cultivated, but also directed towards solving critical national security challenges. It demands a clear-eyed assessment of which legacy systems must be abandoned and which can be adapted for an artificial intelligence-centric world. The choice facing America is stark. It can continue on its current path, allowing its decentralized system to be outmaneuvered by a more focused and integrated competitor, and watch as its military, financial, and economic power erodes. Or it can awaken to the scale of the challenge and fundamentally reorganize itself to compete in this new era. The nature of global power is changing. It is becoming faster, smarter, and more ruthless. The American hegemon, the undisputed leader for nearly a century, must now prove it can learn as fast as the machines that threaten to render it obsolete. The final decade of its leadership may have already begun.